Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining Jess and I. My name is Soila. I'm the founding editor of the divorcemagazine.co.uk, and I'm also a parenting therapist. So I work very closely with families that are going through divorce and they're having issues or concerns with their children. So if you're having any issues or you're concerned about your children or you know somebody who's concerned, please do let me know at Soila at thedivorcemagazine.co.uk. So today I'm really pleased to have Jess Scott, whom I know through one of our networking events, women networking events. And I won't tell you much more. I'll let Jess tell us who she is, Jess, and what it is that she does. Hi, Jess.
Hello, hi everyone. It's great to virtually meet you all. So thanks for the kind introduction. My name's Jess and I work with clients all over the world, but predominantly in London, as that's where my two clinics are. But I also run an online clinic, and my goal is to help all my clients reach their health goals. I guess the majority of clients that I see have health goals that are related to weight. So typically it's weight loss, but I do see clients as also for kind of weight gain and also weight maintenance. You know, once people have hit their goals and they're, you know, they've got their dream silhouette of a body, you know, how to kind of keep that and maintain it so that they don't go back to square one and, you know, spend their lives yo-yoing. So that's kind of the main kind of clients that I help with. But I also work with the tired and wired clients, so clients that wake up, you know, really fatigued already and typically, you know, start their day maybe with coffee to just give them a pick-me-up, and then typically wind down with alcohol just to chill out and zone out for the evening. So I guess kind of adrenal and kind of tired energy levels are something that I deal with a lot, and the other area is digestion and skin. So those are kind of the four areas that I help, and with giving you, you know, really practical food suggestions that fit in with your everyday life, you know, in amongst kids and work and everything. We build a plan that's really realistic and you look at and you think, you know, I can't wait to follow it, and you really understand the plan.
And do you work with both men and women?
Yes, predominantly women. But when I first qualified as a nutritional therapist, I worked in a couple of personal training studios, and typically there were more men coming through the doors. So I think initially I worked with more men, and now I'd say 80% of my clients are women.
Okay. And you are a qualified nutritionist, as you just mentioned.
Yeah, so I qualified in 2010. So yeah, I've been working as a nutritional therapist for about 7 years or 6 years. But my mum is a nutritional therapist and my dad's an osteopath. So I feel like I've been in it a lot longer than 6 years. I've had it, you know, all this information dripped into me.
It didn't just go in and out; it actually stayed.
Yeah.
So, Jess, what we're going to be talking about today is really about nutrition. So, foods after divorce and stress and wine, because wine, as we know, you even mentioned the whole alcohol thing is a big deal. But the area that I would really like to focus on with you is about the foods and stresses, because we know going through divorce almost inevitably entails getting stressed and getting anxiety and not sleeping well and so on and so forth. So what foods would you suggest that we pay attention to or that we take in during a time when we're going through stress?
Yeah, really good question. So I think food habits do really change when your body and, you know, psychologically you are going through a bout of heightened stress. And I think just having the number one thing is to have that awareness and that realization that actually maybe sugar cravings have really, really gone up, and, you know, don't beat yourself up about it. Just having that awareness that they're there it's so interesting, you know, how the body works and operates when you're exposed to more stress, and it's for a reason you get these sugar cravings. So I think number one is having the awareness of, you know, what your body's craving and you know what you don't fancy at all. But I think, like with anything, but particularly when your body is, you know, going through an emotionally really charged time, being extra aware of having more nutrient dense foods that give you, you know, a lot of bang for your buck is really important. So I'm really not calorie focused at all.
Okay.
And I really promote that with every single one of my every single one of my clients. So, ditch the calories, particularly in times of stress, because it's such an unnecessary area to be stressed about. And instead really focus on, what foods make you feel really good. For a lot of people, it's, eating some, lots of plant foods and fruits and vegetables and, lean meats, if you eat lean meats, and, like wild meats, so things like wild salmon, non-farmed fish, and also, meats and things. But just looking at ways that I think number one is like, how easy is it to put these things in? So like, having some avocado on toast in the morning, maybe making a big batch of really nice soup, or like a casserole, or like a delicious curries, and like batch making food so that it's less stressful having to, make each dish at one time, especially if you're feeding lots of people as well.
Yeah, that's a really good idea about, making loads of food that you can use during the week. I have started doing that, and I have to say it's really changed my evenings, because I hate cooking. It's just one of those things. I always think I wish I could have a live out cook, but I found it so much easier when you cook in bulk, and then you just know what we're having tomorrow and this next day and so forth. And it stopped me from actually just reaching into the fridge and going, oh, you know what, I have Nutella, I have a bagel.
Yeah, definitely. And also I think when you are under a lot of stress, like, you have less clear headspace to make really great decisions. So I think when you do batch make a curry, or all these other and chop up tons of vegetables that you can have with like hummus, and is like ready snacks already done, then it just means that your kind of brain space and your willpower and things don't have to be dipped into for what am I having for dinner tonight, and opening the fridge and not seeing any foods, and or in an uninspiring fridge. And you can already know that if within an hour you can defrost a bag of your favorite soup, and it's already a dinner done, and you don't have to resort to having to really be disciplined with yourself.
Yeah. So what kind of foods should we avoid during these stressful times when going through divorce?
So I really concentrate on what foods could you include, and I do that really specifically, and it's because if your breakfast is amazing, and if time is something that's really precious in the morning, and maybe you've got children that you've got to get up and off to school and everything, and you've got a minute to prepare breakfast, then I love smoothies that are so quick and simple. So either getting something like a NutriBullet, or there's another blender that's a quarter of the price that I've been trialing that's really good. We can put it in the notes, or I'll send it to Soila.
Okay.
But whizzing up a quick smoothie, and then you've got 5 fruits or vegetables in there already, and then it means that rather, if you concentrate on what can you include, then all the extras that sometimes creep in, just there's no room for them. So there's obviously, most people know which foods aren't good for them, but often making a rational decision doesn't happen when you're really stressed and things. So I would just focus on what foods give you great energy, and what foods do you feel really, really brilliant on, and just try and include those as much as possible, and naturally the bad habits do slip away.
Yeah. And what about another thing that gets affected during divorce, when you're going through divorce, or the divorce process, is sleep? And I was just wondering, are there any, we have all these herbal teas where you can go and you can get, Valerian Plus, and you can get Snow and Sleep from Clipper, where that helps, get you to sleep. So, but are there any foods that actually would help with this, or that hinder sleep or affect your sleeping pattern?
Yeah, so obviously caffeine is an obvious one. If you're really sensitive to caffeine, then don't have it beyond 12 o'clock. Even some of my clients that I do sometimes a 4-week caffeine elimination trial. Obviously, if you're having lots of caffeine at the moment, then just work your way down slowly, because it can induce like a detoxification reaction, because caffeine has to be processed by your liver. So if the caffeine load goes down, then suddenly your liver can have extra energy to actually detox all the other toxins in the body. So for some people it makes them feel worse initially, and they say to me, I'm meant to have coffee because my body's telling me that I'm that this withdrawal isn't good for me, but actually it's often the opposite. So if you feel like if someone was to say to you, would omitting coffee from your life be a challenge for you, and you think there's no way I could live without coffee, then just like have that awareness of that dependency that's evolved, you know, over a period of time. And, you know, I would really trial, you know, avoiding it for 4 weeks, because even having, you know, one coffee in the morning, I still know clients that when we, you know, they think they're totally fine. And once we've removed it over a couple of days, they actually notice that even that one coffee at 10 in the morning is affecting them later on.
Yeah, I found that actually, and I just put it down to age, you know, me getting older. But I just, even at 9 o'clock, 9:30 in the morning, having a latte, by nighttime I still can't sleep. You know, it really does change the way that I'm sleeping. So caffeine and food.
So caffeine is definitely one of them. And what's really interesting is certain people have an enzyme in their liver which breaks down caffeine really slowly, and other people have a fast caffeine liver enzyme. So, you know, your colleague might be great on it, but you might excel eliminating it. So that's why I just say, you know, don't compare yourself, you know, with anyone else, because everyone else has a total different body. Just, you know, eliminate it for you, and just, you know, notice if your sleep patterns get better. And if your weight, if your weight kind of fluctuates, notice if your weight is actually much easier to maintain, because again, for weight loss, you really want your liver really nice and healthy, because it helps your liver control things like fat burning, and also energy and so many other different processes. So caffeine is definitely one of them. The other thing I would say, like from a mental point of view, is like having a notepad by your bed, and just, you know, anything that's whizzing on in your mind at the, you know, before your head touches the pillow, write it down and just really like brain dump, so that you and it's so nice just to dump all that stuff on paper, and you know that you're not going to forget it. So that's an exercise that I find really helpful. In terms of food, I would definitely say that having, and I know it goes against what most people are led to believe, but actually keeping your breakfast very protein and good quality fats heavy, and then lunchtime exactly the same, but keeping your carbohydrates to the evening, which I know is opposite. Most people think, you know, have your carbs and then past 5 o'clock, no carbs, but your body doesn't actually work like that. It hasn't got a clock. Okay. You know, a carb clock.
A carb clock.
So having something like, you know, like a rice or quinoa with your curry, for example, or you know, enjoying some kind of, you know, things like sweet potatoes or regular potatoes, or starchy vegetables like parsnips or carrots and things with your evening dinner, can actually, it produces a hormone called serotonin, which is like your happy, chilled, like a zen hormone. So it makes sense to have that produced in the evening, and that's just produced in your body once you break down carbohydrates. So it makes sense to have that circulating in your body in the evening rather than at breakfast time, because you don't want to be enjoying a carb coma when you're at your office, you know, trying to concentrate.
To stay awake.
So that concept is known as carb backloading, and it's basically just switching your carbohydrates to the evening. You know, and you know, obviously it depends how much exercise and things like that you're doing, but evening rather than in your dinner for breakfast. And also enjoying things that are high in in tryptophan, which is another protein which helps with sleep. So
where do you get that from? What foods?
Turkey and eggs are really high in tryptophan. So having, you know, like turkey mince, or, you know, turkey bolognese for dinner, or, you know, some boiled eggs with like a kedgeree, or, you know, whatever you fancy. But yeah, boiled eggs and oats and turkey are the main sources.
Yeah. Okay, all right, that's great. So and what about wine? I mean, because it's something that I can tell you that we always talk about. People always talk about it. And I remember one particular time when my youngest daughter was really little, and we had gone for our mother's, you know, like, what was it called? Playgroup thing. Yeah, and it was the regular group that we meet. And I always remember this lady who came in one time, and she said, well, you know, we're talking about wine. And she said, oh, yes. I start my wine at 6 o'clock. That's the time that I go out and I get my wine. But I'm just wondering, is 5 o'clock too early to start?
Yeah.
She had reached that point with her toddler sons that she was just like, I'm going to have some. Yeah. But tell us a little bit about wine.
Yeah, so I think having that awareness and realizing that actually this is the way that I'm, you know, unwinding, you know, in the evening, And obviously there's some pros and cons, with wine. So, it's great. They're a really high source of resveratrol, which is a really potent antioxidant, more so in red wine than, white wine. So there are some benefits, but if you're having it consistently coupled with, stress and everything, it plays a huge toll, and creates a real burden on your liver. And the health of the liver is so important. So, I'm not saying never have wine, but I think when you're dependent on it and having it, every single day, then it just really causes you to lose your shine, I think, in terms of like your energy and things. So the other thing is it contains, it's a lot more calorie heavy. And I say, said earlier that I really don't focus on calories, but it doesn't contain a lot of nutrition compared to it almost contains double the amount of calories compared to a gram of protein and a gram of carbohydrate. So it is very calorific, and often it just, after months and things of getting in that habit, then it's just, and having, lots of calories and things in the evening coupled with potentially, like chocolate and indulgent, like sweet foods and things, it can just be a bit of a catalyst in terms of like sending your health in another direction. So I'm not saying go teetotal, but I would really mark out in the diary any events that you're going to where you actually think I'd love a glass of wine, and mark that as your a day you're going to have a couple of glasses, and then all the other days just find another more like health restoring ritual, like a bath full of bubbles, or listening to your favorite music, put some headphones on, or put it on and just have like a little dance around your house, or other thing, or pick up the phone and speak to a girlfriend that you haven't spoken to in years, and just have a catch up. And I think you can find really soul lifting other activities, but just wine tends to be a lot easier because it comes in a bottle.
It's just pouring it and that's it. But it's really important to think about when and how and if there is a substitute to it. And the other thing, even just processing alcohol, you lose, your body utilizes a lot of its nutrition, a lot of B vitamins, which are actually needed in the body in a couple of energy cycles. So you need B vitamins to manufacture energy within your body. So the more B vitamins you're utilizing to, break down alcohol, it means there's fewer B vitamins to do more constructive things in your body, like manufacturing energy. So if you're finding in the daytime you're really low energy wise, then try and minimize the number of unwanted tasks that deplete those those nutrients, which are so crucial for the body. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Jess. We've talked about we briefly mentioned your clients right at the beginning, and we talked about that you work with both men and women. But who typically are your clients, the ones that you see on regular basis?
So typically, so I've got a few different coaching programs, of like a 1-month coaching program, 3 months and 6 months coaching program. And I work one-on-one with my clients, and we have check-ins every week or every 2 weeks, just for the accountability, and also to know that you're, being handheld and you've got someone that's really on the same, success path, or really encouraging you to start and finish, because the benefits are so important for like your lifelong health. So I've got those kind of 3 options, and I say my typical client is like a female, like city executive. Some have kids, some don't have kids because they don't have time to have children quite yet, because they're workers, just they can't imagine having any extra tasks and things or any time. So that's, I'd say, my typical one. I'm working at the moment behind the scenes building some online programs, so it will allow me to work with my clients, but within a community of like-minded people, so that you can cheer on other people and bounce off each other's energy and support and things like that. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. So depending when you're listening to this recording, that might all be set up, in which case I'm working with people in groups rather than one-on-one.
Okay. And what about your, I mean, you mentioned about working with people mainly in London, but if somebody wanted to contact you and they live in Wales or Scotland or outside the UK, they still can? How do you work with them?
So the majority of my clients I now do, I see them via my online clinic, which I do via Skype or Zoom. So again, exactly like this call here, and you send your completed questionnaire, which goes over your main health goals, but also your health history, and then we just do check-ins every 1 or 2 weeks,
okay.
And you feedback with your progress, and any stumbling blocks that you maybe didn't foresee, or and we just keep that program developing. But yeah, Skype's the main way that I do see clients now, also because it's so much easier. You can book out a meeting room, or drop the kids off at school, and then you can do it from the comfort of your own home. You don't need to come into London and my clinic, and the travel time there and back. So I think it's mutually beneficial.
Tell us about your brilliant website.
Yes. So I launched it I think about 2 years ago now, and it's called Jessipes, not Jessipis, as my sister thought when I first launched the website. So I don't manufacture pies. And it's all about every Tuesday I release a new recipe. Every Thursday I release something that I find really inspiring, that a lot of my clients also have fed back. So it'll be things like just really actionable content that you can fit in, but the goal is just to make healthy eating really fun, is like the number one, but really simple, because it's got to be simple, otherwise it's not really sustainable, and really enjoyable. So yeah, and delicious at the same time. So yeah, that's what I do over there. And I also organise like workshops, which I occasionally do on Saturdays or midweek, and I'm going to be doing things like cooking workshops. So the best way to kind of keep up to date is just to go onto my website, which is just jessipes.co.uk, and that's jessipes.co.uk, and sign up to my newsletter, and you'll get the inside scoop on any events that I run.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much, Jess. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure speaking with you again and finding out a lot more about what it is that you're doing now and your different programs that you have on. And I think the greatest thing I could say is that you make eating healthy fun.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah, you really do. And I've seen your website and the emails that you send through with the various recipes, and they're really fun. They're colorful. They're happy. You're just like, for somebody who just doesn't like doing that kind of thing, you look at it and you see the colors, you see the nutrition, and you think, yes, this is what I would like to do. I'd like to try this out. So thank you so very much.
Oh, good. I'm pleased to hear it. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is The Divorce Magazine, on YouTube. And you're probably watching this on our website, thedivorcemagazine.co.uk. But if you go to the YouTube channel, there's a lot more information on there about divorce, the divorce process, effects of divorce on children, and now we have some stuff on stress and divorce and food. So have a listen, have a look, have a watch, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much, and I'll see you later. Thanks, Jess.
No, pleasure.
Thank you.